I'm Natasha Taylor-Bryson and I'm watching a lot of Dynasty, new and old, for a book I'm writing. And here are my top 10 moments from episode 13 of the CW's Dynasty. Number 1. Dynasty drama sounds good in every language. Jeff meets up with his father Cecil Colby before the upcoming parole hearing and we get to hear some more Yoruba. I love this interchange between the languages, and it is getting a lot of love on Twitter. Now, is it me, or has Cecil gone greyer since we last saw him when he met with Fallon? Cecil has been in jail for 11 years, but the times they are a-changing, and the judge who initially put him away, Senator Daniels from last week's episode, from episode 12, has been brought low by a sex scandal, and Stansfield, the police chief that recommended to the parole board that Cecil be denied each of the 3 times that he came up for parole, has now been retired. Jeff seems pretty confident, but Cecil still is not convinced, warning Jeff that the Carringtons always find a way. Number 2. Sam folds faster than Superman on laundry day. Sammy Joe is excited about his new job as Fallon's assistant. Since he's 45 minutes late on his first day, I think it's safe to say he's more excited about sporting his new spiffy duds than he is about the job itself. Although it has to be said, he has been busy working on his persona, answering the phone. Samuel Isaiah Jones. He does it much better than me.
Fallon Carrington's office. Samuel Josiah Jones speaking. How can I help you?
Michael tries to convince Fallon that Jeff is up to something, but when she brushes him off, Michael gets on the phone and gets Sam to search the office for proof of Jeff's nefarious doings. Fallon walks in on Sammy Joe rifling through Jeff's desk and is totally busted. Now, the morning battle with the coffee machine has clearly taken its toll on Sam because he quickly breaks, throwing Michael right under that bus, and this is why.
Please don't fire me. This job's really important for my self-esteem.
And then proceeds to bugger up the phones. Number 3, Anders goes full Peaky Blinders for a second time. Anders meets up with someone called Randall Oakley, who turns out to be a prison guard, who just happens to be working at the prison holding Cecil Colby. Cecil had said earlier that the Carringtons always find a way, and boy, what a way. Anders hands over a wedge of cash and ominously inquires after Oakley's daughter's schooling. Later we see Oakley at work in the prison guarding Cecil, who is mopping the floor. Oakley pulls out a knife, stabs himself in the leg and grabs Cecil so he has his blood on him, and then shouts for the guards to come help. Guards come rushing in on the scene and cart the stunned Cecil away. Number 4. Everyone has a prize. Frustrated by the whole knife in the leg setup that is sure to keep his father in jail, Jeff meets up with the parole commissioner and tries to convince her what has happened, and when that doesn't work, offers her enough money that she will never have to work again, otherwise known as a bribe. But I'm guessing that would leave too much of a trail because the parole commissioner takes him up on his offer, but with a less traceable option. A night with Jeff in full American gigolo mode. And he must have been good, because after the parole board denies Cecil parole, the commissioner, flush with post-coital satisfaction, overturns it, and Cecil Colby is finally a free man. Number 5. Stephen begins his run for office and Crystal takes on the tentative mantle of strategist. Blake is vociferously against it, pointing out that it's a full contact sport, making Stephen's background fair game. Crystal doesn't agree, but points out to Stephen that skeletons don't stay in the closet, as she knows, and advises Stephen to own it all and get ahead of everyone, which he does. So he talks it over with Ted Denard, and he goes up and has an interview with Crystal's old contact, the political muckraking journalist Rick. Number 6. Girls' night out. Fallon wants to celebrate getting her company back with a night reliving wilder past days at an old haunt called the Ivy House, which is a VIP night. We're talking private room, private bar, and even private dancers. Number 7. Monica's dress, which is all the right kinds of 80s sequin disco awesomeness. How could this dress make you anything but happy? A fact demonstrated by Wakima on her Instagram feed, dancing and lip syncing to So Fly by Elvana. Such a glorious dress requires similarly glorious footwear, and Wakima goes huge with crystal studded slouch boots. We also get a nod to her name change, with Fallon announcing that she's bought the club, the Ivy House, for Monica, no strings attached of course, and says that let's go mingle with the ordinary people, to which Monica says, "Je suis Monique." Number 8, Ted Denard is clean, single and ready to mingle. Stephen calls Ted over to chat about his upcoming run for office and his plans to get ahead of his past, a less salubrious past which includes a lot of Ted. And Ted gives Stephen his blessing and pops back later that night to find Sam setting up popcorn for movie night. It was like watching a car crash. Sam wants Ted gone so they can watch the movie. Stephen wants to explain to Ted that Sam and him are not a couple. And Ted, well, he walks off saying, "I'm a drug addict, I'm not stupid." So that went well. Next day, Ted appears in the apartment when Sam is getting ready for work. Stephen has already left. And Ted is tweaked out. He's rambling if he's going down, he's going to take Stephen and Sam with him. Then he lurches at Sam and rips out his George Michael earring and jumps out the window. You heard me right, he jumped out the window. Stephen walks in and all Sam can do is stare at the open window in utter shock. Number 9, Crystal's lip smacker. Crystal and her old compatriot Rick the journalist, have a past. They seemed a little flirty with each other in episode 12, but I thought it was just, you know, a kind of Rick had an unrequited crush on Crystal. But then she goes and plants one big head-holding smooch on him. So, questions. Is Crystal frustrated by Blake and acting out? Does she need something from Rick and using an old school honeypot manipulation to get it? Does she know that Rick is likely to expose Blake and the Carringtons and so needs to keep him close? Or does she just fancy the bloke? I hesitate to include the last one, it is soap opera after all, and characters' impulses are rarely that benign. Whatever her reasons, Rick is being pushed by Jeff to expose Blake. The story of the bribes from the last episode, episode 12, were fed to him by Jeff, and now Jeff has Rick on the trail of the guard who stabbed himself. Number 10, a proposal of marriage. Jeff has been weaving his web for many an episode now. The goal? Bring down the Carringtons in retribution for falsely incarcerating his father. And despite a few close calls, tweaks and recalibrations, things seem to have mostly gone to plan. But there is no way that Jeff could have factored in the human whirlwind that is Sammy Joe. Sam's lack of dexterity in the office results in Fallon getting Jeff's messages or rerouted to her phone. And there are some interesting ones, most notably an incriminating one from Monica to Jeff. And this is all hot on the heels of Jeff's proposal. So Fallon now knows that Jeff is trying to play her, but doesn't know why. Fallon's counter strategy? Accept Jeff's proposal and find out what's going on. Who's the spider now?
I knew we weren't that ugly, I knew it.